Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 2nd of August. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. First we're going to discuss the report of Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation. They gave us a lot of numbers. The numbers are very terrible for the Ukrainians, of course, so let's start. And first of all, we understand and we know that there are very heavy clashes near Donetsk. And not just very heavy clashes, the Russians are breaking through and they're cracking this nut. Step by step, slowly, but they're cracking and the Ukrainians are defeated in this area and they're losing their position. First of all, let's discuss this 54th Mechanized Brigade. As a result of Russian attack, this brigade lost around 50 soldiers. Yes, not much, but anyway, we know that the Russians are hunting this brigade. This brigade had a lot of damage during the previous period. This brigade, the attack was near town Marinka. We know that the Russians are pushing in this area and trying to crack the Ukrainians in this area. So there were heavy clashes in Krasnogorovka. So I suppose that very soon this front line is going to collapse. Another important update is about this 56th Mechanized Brigade. This Mechanized Brigade is located near Pesky. This one, Pesky. We know that the Russians are pushing in Pesky, and today we got some reports that Russians cracked this net, and now they're controlling around 65% of Pesky, and this area is in the zone of this 56th Mechanized Brigade responsibility. This 56th Mechanized Brigade in Pesky were defeated, not entire, but few battalions, and they were forced to retreat, and they were retreating towards town Vodyana, this one. If you take a look at this map, it's better to see the numbers, the towns and so on. So the Ukrainians were in Pesky and they were moving using this road towards Vodyana, this town in the north. But somehow, I don't know how, but the Ukrainians started artillery strike on this road and they were shelling these Ukrainians. So there was a case of friendly fire, and according to the Ministry of Defense, this battalion of 56th Mechanized Brigade that were located in Pesky was completely defeated and completely destroyed. So there is no more this battalion. Of course, there are some survived in this retreat in this battalion, but the Russians are saying that there is no more this battalion. So this friendly fire is very bad news, of course. Now let's move to our Seversk Artyomovsk area, to this area. The Russians attacked this 58th Motorized Brigade, and as a result of attack against this brigade, 130 soldiers were killed and around 70 left their position. So there is a case of desertion in this area, and we understand, of course, why, because the Russians are pushing in this area. They're pushing heavily. There are very heavy clashes in Pokrovska, in Vesela Dolina, Zaitsevo, Vershina. Today we got some updates from some sources. The Russians took control over Zaitsevo, and this area is the area of responsibility of 72nd Mechanized Brigade and this 58th Mechanized Brigade. So as we can see, this brigade is no longer planning to protect. Furthermore, those 70 soldiers that left their position, during this desertion, they were captured and got into jail. So because of desertion and something like this. Now let's move to the north. There is another famous brigade, 92nd Mechanized Brigade. The Russians attack area near Chuguev and near Merecha. On this town is located on this part of Kharkiv, Merefa, this one Merefa, and this one Chuguev. These two important towns, the key areas. The Russians were shelling this area heavily, and as a result of that attack, the Ukrainians lost around 500 soldiers from that 92nd Mechanized Brigade. So that's a lot. That's a very big losses in this brigade. So I suppose that this brigade is no longer able to continue. Furthermore, we see that the Russians activated their attack near Kharkiv. Maybe soon we're going to see some offensive operation, at least on this side of the area. So I suppose maybe the Russians are planning to return the area on this bank of Seversky Donetsk River. Another important update came today from Nikolaev. There is foreign legion, the forces that mainly consist for volunteers. The Russians attacked this volunteer corps, and the losses of this foreign region is around 250 soldiers. As you can see, this is very big harvest day from the Russian side, and the Ukrainians had a lot of losses. So let's talk about the progress and about the front line. If we're talking about area between Seversk and Bakhmut, there was just few updates, important updates, that maybe soon we are going to see that the Russians are going to establish control over area between Veselo Dolina, Zaitsev Vershina, totally, completely, not just like gray zone or something like this. This area is going to collapse, and the Russians are planning to take control over this area very soon. And after that, they will be able to get Bakhmut from the south, or at least they will be able to block Bakhmut to establish fire control over the roads that on the south, these two roads, and after that they will be able to continue their offensive operation in the south, because today we got another confirmation that the Russians are pushing and trying to crack Travneva. These fortifications, if we take a look at the Russian sources map, we're going to understand, we are going to see that this area is full of trenches. You see these trenches, blue things, and as you can see, there is even a mark showing that the Russians are pushing here. By the way, by the time I start to record this video, like a few minutes ago, there is an update that the Russians took control over Semigorye. So let's update this area according to this information. So the Russians controls Semigorye, and now they are able and they will push towards Kadima, because Kadima is under protection of 72nd Mechanized Brigade and national battalions, but this Kadima is also reduced to ruins, so I suppose that this area is going to collapse very soon. Now let's talk about Avdiivka area, about Donetsk and so on. If you take a look at this map, there is no updates. This map is not updated. If you take a look at the Russian sources map, we're going to see the same picture, just with few changes. And the most important one is that the Russians moved the gray line, this one, on the north of Donetsk. You see this one, gray line, and showing that this territory is in the gray zone. But today there was a lot of confirmation video reports that the Russians took control over these trenches. And as we discussed a few videos ago, they established control over this area, this one, small area. That's not much, of course, but now they have cut the defense line of Ukrainians in this area, and now they are able to push in two directions, even in three directions. And now, as you can see, according even to the West sources map, the Russians are fighting near these small buildings. It's also something like industrial buildings, and they are not very big, but if we take a look at this map, this is it, but they're very reinforced. You see that there are a lot of trenches, a lot of military objects, so the Russians are trying to crack this area. And as soon as they do this, as soon as they're able to crack these small trenches, then they will be able to attack Opitne and to move to Spartak and to crack this area from the back, because this is the area we are talking about. This fortification was first, they were built in 2014 during the first campaign in Ukraine. It's a very powerful position. The Ukrainians are using this position to shield Donetsk. And as you can see, because of the fact that this area has fallen, now this entire area may collapse. And I suppose that sooner or later this is going to happen, and it will speed up as soon as the Russians took these trenches. Now let's talk about Piesky, this one. As we discussed, the Russians controls around 65% of this town. This is the area where the Russians pushed the 56th Mechanized Brigade. They tried to retreat towards Vodanoye, got under friendly fire, and they lost their battalion totally. And today we got more and more videos, more updates that the Russians not just crack this nut, they push, and after that we see that the Russians will try to establish control over this triangle, over Opitne, over Vodyane, over Pervomaisk. So this area is the primary goal for the Russians in the upcoming weeks and something like this. As we can see, the Russians reduced the pressure near Seversk. To tell the truth, there is no update from this area. There are still artillery duels and so on, but nothing more. Furthermore, today I got a very interesting report about the south of area, about Kherson. The Russians managed to collect there around 30 BTGs. So in this area around Kherson, there are around 30 BTGs. Let's calculate the front line in this area. As you can see, the front line is in this area is around 183 kilometers, and if we split 183 kilometers on 30, that means that there are around 6 kilometers per 1 BTG, and 6 kilometers per 1 BTG according to the standards means that this is offensive configuration of defense, or there are so many Ukrainians on the north that we discussed. There might be something around 200,000 of Ukrainians. Maybe this is the reason why the Russians decided to collect there so many BTGs, around 30, just to be on the safe side. Or this might be some kind of signal that the Russians maybe are planning to start some offensive operation here, because 1 BTG per 6 kilometers, as we discussed, this is offensive configuration of any military disposition on the map. If we're talking about the Kharkiv area, there are still some artillery duels. The Russians are shelling, they're pushing very slowly, step by step. I can't even say that it's some kind of offensive operation. They just reduce some town, some village. The Ukrainians are forced to leave this area because there were no possibility to hold this area because of no place where they can hide, and then the Russians just enter these empty towns, and then they continue doing their job, shelling more and more and more, push the Ukrainians more and more. And that's it for today. Military Summary Channel reminds you that we condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.